Welcome to the episode of Jay Leno's Garage. Today, pretty much the holy grail of sports cars, Ferrari. And of course, this is the Ferrari Enzo. It's a 2003 model. Every Ferrari is groundbreaking, and of course, progress moves so quickly. When this came out in 2003, 651 horsepower. Now we have cars with 700, 800, 900 horsepower. It's pretty crazy how quickly it all moves. And Ferrari always outdoes itself with the next model. But each one is an icon. I mean, my favorite is the F40. I got to drive this particular car for the Jay Leno's Garage TV show on network TV, and I was really impressed with it. And we're going to show it to you today on YouTube. Let's bring in David Lee, the owner. David, how are you, my friend?
Hey, how you doing, Jay?
So you got your government safety clothing on?
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. That's right. You don't get hit crossing the street in that shirt. Yes, sir. But if you didn't see him coming, no lawyer in the world will. Yeah. Okay. Very cool. This is a beautiful, beautiful example. This is about the nicest one I've seen, especially considering that you use it and you drive it.
Yeah.
That's how many miles you got in this thing?
I have about 5,500 miles.
Okay. Yeah. Cool. Cool. Actually, it's probably one of the higher mileage ones, isn't it?
Yeah. Everybody is keeping it low and everything.
Yeah, because we see you around town in the car all the time. Okay, let's get the specifics out of the way. What,
Sure.
660
horsepower, they say.
Okay.
V12.
Right. 6 liter, is that what it is?
6 liter.
Okay.
Naturally aspirated.
Right.
The last of the naturally aspirated cars.
And you can tell the difference, can't you? I like a normally aspirated car.
Me too.
Like the F1. It just feels quicker,
Yeah.
Even the Mustang 350R, there's no turbo in that. It just seems to go right now. Even though turbo lag has almost been totally eliminated in cars, there's still that millisecond. It's funny how that works. But
Well, how about nowadays the hybrid too? When you're driving and you stop and suddenly all the engine is off, and you go in the hybrid mode a little bit. There's no sound.
Right.
That's kind of just.
Yeah. No, this is. It's so funny because when the F40 came out, even with a manual shift, that was the last car that was designed under Enzo's tutelage, so to speak. It was a real sort of, it's a sexist term, man's car, but that's probably true because clutch was heavy, but it's a lot of fun to drive, okay? And then this came along, and now this seems quaint compared to the high-tech stuff now.
Right.
Okay. How many speeds we got here?
There's 6 speeds.
Okay.
And it's semi F1 automatic. Right. Michael Schumacher was involved in creating for this car.
Right. That's right. He helped develop it, and 7-time world champion. So you can't get much better than that.
Yep.
Yeah. No. It's a great looking car. It was designed by the famous Japanese designer Ken. Is it? Okuyama, yeah. And
but he was the head designer of Pininfarina.
Pininfarina, that's right. That's what it was, right?
He was the head designer. The car is all carbon fiber, tub and the outside chassis, full use of it. So very light, 3,000 pounds car.
Well, it's only 3,000 pounds. That's pretty amazing. And with 660 horsepower, very, very impressive.
And it was the first time they used the carbon ceramic brakes. So carbon ceramic brakes were.
Is that right? 2003 was the first time.
Yeah, when they used it. Yeah, took that. They took a lot of F1 technology. Some that was they could use on F1, some they couldn't, but they put it just like the aerodynamic. The back wing that comes up.
Right.
That was not allowed at F1, but they took that technology and put it in the road car.
Okay. Well, that's pretty amazing. It's so funny. We just think of carbon fiber as the standard now, but it's really a new substance. 10 years really. When the F1 came out, there weren't even carbon fiber brakes. That has steel rotors in it.
Yeah, that's right.
But the technology just keeps multiplying really, really quickly.
Yep.
Can we open and see what the engine looks like?
Sure.
Let's open it up.
Okay. Here's the trusty little Ferrari stick that. Okay.
Wow. Okay. Well, see, that's what I love. You can actually see the engine. So many monocoques. That's the one thing that annoys me a little bit about the P1 McLaren is that you can't. I mean, he can get in, you can clean. Well, there's not a lot the owner operator can do themselves, but at least you can keep it looking good. And just sort of take it all in. Pretty cool.
Yeah. Nowadays they only have a little part you can see. They pretend
Right.
like you can see it, but no, this is.
And this is the factory piece too as well.
Yeah,
right?
it
Oh,
is.
I see it fits right in there.
Yeah,
Okay, it looks
yeah.
like maybe something you put on. So I could, well, no, I mean it's just, you know, it's just.
No, this was a factory piece.
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
Very cool. Notice how your muffler is integrated with
Yeah.
your crash zone there and all that.
Yeah. And they use carbon fiber on the covers and.
Yeah, so it's really mid-engine, isn't it?
Yeah, mid-engine.
Yeah. Boy, it's just beautifully detailed. I mean, look at all the carbon fiber. This is really a amazing work of art.
And I like the balance that when it's a mid-engine, so especially nowadays, a lot of people, they encourage you to go to track and you're driving a track. It just seems like it's more balanced going through the track. Yeah.
They built 399 of these, right? And then they built one more for the Pope.
Yes,
right?
that's right.
Yeah.
That's right. That's right.
Hard to see the Pope tearing through the hills. Because I would think just the hat would be.
Right. Doesn't give you much room on there.
No. Maybe they do a cutout so that hat can stick through the top. But actually, it was the Vatican for charity, right?
Yeah,
That's
right. That's right. Yeah.
Very cool. Oh well, just amazing. Very nice. Here, we'll close it up again.
Okay.
And that rod just snaps in place there, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
A little spot, put it in there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what?
1, 2, 3. Okay.
Seems a harsh way to do it. And do you have any space in the front?
Yeah. It's
Oh, it's interesting. It opens that way. You think it would open that way.
right.
Okay. Oh no, what is that? It says
Oh, look at that. Well, I have a little surprise here. It's a denim tie,
Oh,
so
denim
that
tie.
yeah. So because it's a special occasion, we're driving the Enzo,
Yeah, very
and
nice.
you know, so you get a little dress up. It matches your whole deal.
I have a little surprise for you. I
Okay.
think something you would like. This is something you've never had.
Oh, okay. Really?
I think you would enjoy this. This is a pair of socks. Okay. See these, and it's got a little hanger. You can hang these on. These go on your feet. You see?
Okay,
You
I
see?
see.
In America, we wear these to protect our feet. Yes. See, you know, so, oh yeah, there you are. Yeah. So
Thank you. I just need them.
Yeah. When visiting America, you might want to put these on. Yeah. So see, there you go. I think you'd enjoy that. So I'll wear my tie, and you can wear your socks.
Okay.
Yeah. I think. I think you'd like that.
Thank you very much.
Here, we'll put them right in here for
Okay,
now.
okay.
And you can show those to your family and explain how they work. There's some instructions there how to put them on and whatnot. Okay, so, but not the biggest trunk in the world. But as we said, this was the first Ferrari designed by a Japanese designer, right?
Yes, that's
Okay,
right.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, he was, and it has a lot of inspiration from F1, as you can see. So it totally
It does.
looks like F1. When it came out, I remember when it first came out, I was like, wow, you know, that's so radical, you know, so different than.
It is radical different. And I also see, I don't know whether it's because I know the designer is Japanese, but I think I see Japanese influences in it. And when you look at Japanese art and culture, just the design of the car, it looks like it has some like almost kabuki theater looking kind of, you know, like to the front,
Right,
you know.
I see what you mean.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. I think it's just, it's just a beautiful car, and certainly a radical departure for Ferrari. This car was really the most innovative car when it came out at the time, and it still is to this day.
Yep.
Yeah, pretty amazing.
And the inside, you'll see, it's all minimal. I mean, it's a lot of carbon fiber, but you know, they gave you an air conditioner, but that's it. Nothing else inside.
Yeah. No radio?
No radio, nothing.
Oh, there's no radio?
Yeah, there's no radio.
Well, you know, we can go to Walmart and pick up one of those little speakers you plug your phone in. Yeah.
Nowadays, right?
Yeah,
you can do that.
And a radio was not available?
No, radio was not available.
Wow.
Yeah, and you know, of course, there was no electric, so the seats had to be manual.
I don't care about that.
The windows, all that was manual. Everything was manual. I think they say to save weight, but then also I think they were going for just a minimal.
Right.
Yeah.
So air conditioning, the only, and that was probably optional, right?
Yeah.
Well, beautiful wheels, the whole bit. Very nice car. Can we? And you got your two fans down here, so you have radiators on each side. Very nice. Can we take it for a ride?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, we are safely ensconced in the Ferrari here. You know, anytime you start a Ferrari, it's a special occasion, especially a car like this Enzo. So we'll take you through the whole process before we go for a ride. David, quickly explain what we have here.
Okay, so we have the different modes of the right. Then we have the lift, which is very important.
Oh, right? To lift up the front end, correct?
Race mode, so even it was aggressive, but the even more race mode.
Yeah.
Take off all the electronics to help, and the reverse.
I see. Okay, this is reverse there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then again, this is the air conditioning, right? That's
right.
all it is. There's no radio or anywhere. The start button, hazard, parking,
right?
And then the
rear view mirror. And this, you know, so funny. I'm so used to modern cars. This is window winding mechanism right here.
Yeah, that's right.
To put the window down. Look at that. There you go.
Yeah.
The age we live in. Pretty amazing. Cool, cool.
Yeah.
All right, let's fire it up. Turn the key.
Turn the key.
Okay.
Okay. Brake and then push the button.
Sounds pretty good.
Haven't seen you for a long time.
Let's do it. This car, of course, was named after Enzo Ferrari.
Yes.
And
matter of fact, I think it was for the 60-year anniversary.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
60-year anniversary, and I thought it was going to be the F60, and suddenly they came out with this shocking name, you know, the Enzo.
Yeah, yeah. I like that name actually. I think it pays tribute to the spirit of the car, and you know, and it was the most technically advanced, just about the fastest sports car in the world. The F1 was still faster, but that was no longer in production. So when it came out, it was really unbelievable. You know, 2003 was a long time ago. In the car world. I mean, cars have probably changed more from 2000 to now than they did from the mid 1900s to 2000. You know, because it's all electronic and dual clutch gearbox and carbon fiber, and you know. I mean, 30 years ago, the idea of not using steel in a car was, what are you talking about? I mean, it doesn't even seem possible, you know.
Well, I remember in those days, they were always comparing this car with your F1, which you have.
Right.
They were comparing with the Carrera GT, which you have, and, you know, seeing who was...
Well, this came out before the Carrera GT. That came out in 4, this was out in 3, but I suppose they probably both hit the market about the same time.
Right.
But it's a beautifully put together car. I mean, you know, when you went to the Ferraris of the early 60s, you know, Enzo was a race car driver, and road cars were just a way to fund the racing. Right. So, you know, the effort, although good, was not optimum, you know. Whereas now, I mean, they realize their bread and butter is in building these kind of cars. And they still only make about, what, 7,000 cars a year or something like that?
Now,
That's it, yeah. But it does have all the cool F1 stuff that we sort of take for granted in cars now, like the red line in the steering wheel, which is pretty sexy back in the day. And it's certainly not an automatic, because you can't drive this car as a fully automatic, correct?
No.
You've got to use the paddles.
Yeah.
So the only difference is it just doesn't have a clutch. The most important thing on supercars like this are the tires, because these tires are a little old.
Yeah.
I can feel how hard they are, and the car is capable of such amazing performance.
I guess that year the Bridgestone was really big with F1, so they were able to make a deal and get on these tires on this car.
But the car has so much power. You can feel the tires start do this a little bit. love the fact that 100 is where about 45 miles an hour would be on a normal speedometer.
Right.
It's less visceral than the M40, but no less pleasurable. I mean, it's a very exciting car to drive.
Yeah.
And it seems huge when you're standing next to it, but when you're in it, it's quite comfortable.
Right.
I think the only other Ferrari named after a family member was the Dino, named after his son.
Right.
He died, I believe, in 1956, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
And I think new Ferraris come with, what, a 7-year warranty? Something like that?
7-year warranty.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah. Oh,
That's very good.
it's very good.
It's funny how different companies react differently. Like, Ferrari has everything on the steering wheel, whereas McLaren, nothing's on the wheel. The wheel's just the wheel. You know, so neither one is right, neither one is wrong.
Right.
It's just different. The new Ford GT has a setup very similar to this. I'm so used to a stock when I want to change direction, I keep going like, oh, that's right, I got to find the button. You know? But this also makes an excellent road car. It doesn't beat you up unless you want to get beaten up, you know?
Right.
I mean, you can take a passenger that's not, ow, my hair, you know, you're not going to get that in this car. You know? Now, the F40 had air conditioning, didn't it? Yeah.
It did.
Yeah. But I have to admit, I really enjoyed that big gear shift and shifting it.
Yeah, I remember. I saw how much you enjoyed it. That was.
I love that car. That was fantastic. It's so funny. Carbon fiber cars make totally different set of noises than steel-bodied cars do.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
Carbon fiber tends to act like a drum, so you can hear it.
Yeah.
F1, that's quite prevalent. This is not so bad, but you hear it a little bit. I love the steering on this. Now, is this hydraulic or is it
hydraulic? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So you don't need a radio in this car. You
No,
enjoy just listening to the motor. I mean, you talk about stocks and bonds. This is the investment. This car, what, 15 years ago cost 600 and what?
650,000.
650,000. Now it's what, $3 million?
Yeah. $3 million.
And you get to use it.
And you get to enjoy it. Yeah.
Pretty amazing ride. I was fortunate enough to drive this car once on the track, and it was amazing then, but you got to get new tires. I mean, this is how accidents happen on cold tires. It's got so much power, but geez, it's just a wonderful car to drive. I mean, this is, you know, when you're talking supercars, doesn't get much bigger than this, and this was the supercar for so many years, and then Ferrari outdid themselves again and again and again. So, but it's fun to look back in history, and even though it's only 15 years, it's amazing how quickly the technology advances forward. This is still a scary fast car, and I hope you enjoyed this little trip down memory lane, even though it was only 15 years. And we'll see you guys next week. Thanks a lot.
Mm-hmm.